Hello and welcome to this program. Our guest today is somebody who was born in Orissa, who did his schooling and further education in Gujarat and then went on to the United States to do his electrical engineering. Later, he had a successful career in the United States and then came back in the early 80s to India to become perhaps the most central figure in the telecom revolution in the country. It's a great pleasure for me to welcome to our studios Mr. Sam Pitroda.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Sam.
Thank you.
Can we begin by talking about some of your early years in India, your childhood and your early education in India before you went to the United States?
Well, I was born and raised in Orissa, in a small little town. Gujarati parents, family of 8. My father had 4th grade education. Sort of a tribal, small little town. And when Sardar Patel died, my parents decided that we should go to Gujarat to study Gujarati. I was about 9 years old, sent off to boarding school, went to Gujarat, sort of brought up more in sort of Gandhian, Sardar Patel background at Vallabh Vidyanagar. Then went to college in Baroda and did a degree in physics, master's in physics. And in those days, there is this big dream to take man onto the moon in US. So decided to go to US. You are young, energetic, no clue as to what you want to do, and winded up in US. And I had a girlfriend in Baroda, so went to school there, called her there, got married and started life in Chicago. And just got stuck there for 38 years.
You did pretty well in the United States, both professionally as well as economically. I mean, you did financially very well as well.
Well, I had good times, and I really was lucky to be at the right place at the right time. Had good education. Parents really emphasized education. And by accident got into telecommunications. And in those days, all the digital revolution was just about to happen.
Right.
So I got in at the right time and had the opportunity to work on a lot of the digital technology. And as a result, got a lot of patents, did some pioneering work, built a company, sold a company, made a little bit of money, and then sort of felt empty at the age of 38.
And is that when you decided you wanted to come back to India?
After I made a little bit of money, which was a lot of money for me then, almost 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, I decided to look for something else to do. And I had not had chance to come to India for almost 15, 20 years. So came back and met a lot of my friends and realized that telecommunications was then in a bad shape. This was early 80s, 80 in fact. We had 2 million telephone lines, phones barely worked, and somehow I felt I found my mission in life. It just happened.
Right, now you've been through the early phases of India's massive expansion of telecom network. How do you assess the work that you did here in the 80s and 90s?
I would say for me that was the best part of my life. I got to work with Rajiv Gandhi, who gave me all the freedom and flexibility, and I had the trust and vision to see the importance of information technology going forward. And I had support of a lot of young talent in India. So we got to build a large pool of talent to design our own products, develop our own software. And I think that created the foundation we needed in the country going forward into 21st century.
Right. In 1984, you founded the Center for Development of Telematics, CDOT. In 87, you became Chief Technology Advisor to the Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. In 1989, you were elected the first chairman of the Telecom Commission.
Yep.
And you were responsible for all aspects of national and international telecom and over 500,000 employees. How did you suddenly take this transition from being very much an engineering person, a technocrat, to working in the private sector, to coming into the government sector and heading the telecom expansion of such a large country?
I think I had the opportunity to look at things a little differently. Being an entrepreneur and inventor, I could take risk. I had no excess baggage. I worked in a very different kind of environment. I had the right mindset. And I was not looking for a job. I had a mission in life. I was not really part of the bureaucracy hierarchy as such. When I really entered India in 80s, I didn't even know what joint secretary meant because I had left India when I was very young.
Yes.
So I didn't worry about the salary structure, the hierarchy, what people call you. I had a job to do. I wanted to do it and then get out of it.
Right. You were totally bereft of any bureaucratic hurdles in your path.
I was part of bureaucracy, but you have to take it as it comes.
Right.
You can't really ignore the environment here. And, I
Did you
made best
face a
out
lot
it.
of bureaucratic hurdles in your
Of course,
path?
of course. Why wouldn't you?
How did you go around circumventing them?
I think in some cases people saw through you and saw the commitment, honesty, sincerity, hard work and supported you. In some cases people were threatened, afraid, suspicious and were opposed to you. It's part of the game. You take it as it comes and deal with it.
Did you enjoy yourself immensely despite?
Oh, I had the best time of my life. I used to get up at 5 in the morning. I'll be at work at 6, 6:30, start meetings, and I would work 18, 20 hours a day. I had the best time.
How would you assess the achievements of those years, of those decades, 80s and 90s? Have we really progressed as fast as you would have liked us, or would you have liked us to progress even faster? And which are the areas where we still lack?
I think we started very well with focus on technology to solve problems of basic human needs. The technology missions on literacy, immunization, water, health, dairy development and telecom were designed to take technology to people. Over a period of time, we lost that missionary zeal. We got into the bureaucracy. And I think in the process, we lost some of the momentum.
But nevertheless, people would say in telecom, certainly, India has seen a major revolution.
Yeah, I think in
Would you agree?
telecom we did well, partly because we developed our own human resource. The young talent that we sort of trained at CDOT, CDAC, in defense, other areas, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research and all, I think paid off in the long run.
You've been credited also with inventing the mechanism, the instant billing mechanism, which created the basis for the STD PCO network in the country, which has really brought telephony within reach of the common man. Now, how did you zero on this particular project, and how did you develop this vision of shared telephone lines, the PCO network all across
See,
the
our
country?
whole emphasis was to provide good communications to rural India. I was convinced that in India, telephone density was not important. What was important was telephone accessibility, connectivity, networking. And to me, telecom always represented openness, accessibility, and as a result, decentralization, democratization, and social transformation. So if you can't take telephones to villages, you won't see the revolution. So we designed small exchanges. And if you have small exchanges, you need billing system, you need the whole package. And I think all of that came out of our indigenous design effort at CDOT. And fortunately, we had the talent in the country in our young, and they delivered. I didn't do much. Really, they should get the credit.
How far do you credit the STD PCO revolution as having changed the face of India?
I think it has changed the face of India. Okay, I think access to telephone line all over the country, in remotest part of country, means something to people. I travel like all of us all over the country, and you see, everywhere, STD PCOs, and you know that once you are there, you can get connected to any place, anywhere in the world,
Right.
and it works. So, I think it has been a major feather in our cap.
Right. It's been some time since you were in the news in this country. Can you tell us what your main engagements have been since you sort of exited from the scene in this country?
I had a heart attack, I had a quadruple bypass, and then Rajiv Gandhi died, and I sort of lost interest. I felt my mission was over. I did as much as I could. I had no salary for almost 12 years, and I had run out of money. I had children growing up, I had mother, I had wife. So like everybody else, I had to make money to live. And I realized that I need to put my family back in order. In the days of technology missions, I hardly saw my kids. Early morning when I would go to work, they would be sleeping. When I'll come back from work, they would be sleeping. So I saw them growing
Horizontally on their beds.
and not vertically. So I thought it was time to pay some attention to family.
Right.
So I went back, started my life back again in US, which was tough because I had given up my US nationality. I had become Indian national.
That's right.
So I had to get a tourist visa, I had to get all the standard stuff again all over, and it was frightening for a while. So I spent little time on family. My children are grown up now. Started a small little business in US, then got involved with International Telecom Union because little things didn't interest me after having spent this exciting time in India.
Right. Only big projects really.
Yeah, and also small
fired you.
company didn't mean much.
Yes.
You need money to live,
Yes.
but there was no romance in that.
Yes.
Okay. So I started some work with the International Telecom Union to change telephone systems in Africa, Latin America. I have a project in Mexico, 12 different countries in Africa, Azerbaijan, so many places.
So you're very much involved with bringing the telecom revolution to developing nations still.
I have tried to devote a lot of time to bridging digital divide. That has been my passion.
Right.
I think digital divide is a major global issue which has gotten a lot of lip service but hasn't been really addressed properly. Right now, for example, I am on the panel for the Secretary General of United Nations to address digital divide. There has been a lot of talk, but very little action.
You keep coming back to India now. Your visits are becoming more frequently again. What brings you back now?
Well, I'm 60, and I wasn't too lucky health-wise. I had heart attack, then I had cancer. So I feel I need to get something done in next 10 years. I don't know what that is yet.
Right.
Okay. I feel that there are a lot of exciting things to do here, and a lot of things are happening. For example, right now I'm trying to study the convergence bill that is going to be tabled
Yes.
in the next parliament session. And I want to explain to people what it means to the nation. I don't think a lot of people understand the importance of it.
Very briefly, would you like to take this opportunity to explain, but in like 2 or 3 sentences?
Sure. Today the entire information industry is compartmentalized. You got television, broadband, broadcast, you got telephones, you got computer software and IT, and you got applications, you got content. All of this has to converge into one platform. Doesn't matter whether it is voice, data, video, what speed, what bandwidth. How do you deliver it to people in an integrated form? And what does it mean to the industry, to consumer, to regulations, to our financial systems? I think it's a very complex challenge.
Yes.
And if we don't see a larger picture with an integrator, we will lose this opportunity. And I think timing is right. You can't have now little fiefdoms like Telecom Commission and broadband, and I think somebody needs to really integrate a lot of this.
Then that is your new mission, to bring about an integration which will help in convergence.
I think that's our challenge. I would say that's our challenge, and I want to spend time explaining to people what it means.
Right.
How are we going to benefit? I want to take broadband to every village, every home. I mean, take for example movies. In India, you make movies for audience in big cities because it costs 100 rupees to go to a theater or whatever it costs. Can I take these fancy movies to every village for 10 rupees per seat? If I want to do that, today technology is available such that I don't have to produce film in this big reel and transport that. I'll just do everything electronically. So film will be produced, movie would be produced electronically. It will be in bits and bytes. It will be delivered on the fiber optics and it will go to small theaters in every village. And people will be able to see it for 10 rupees.
And just the sheer size and the scale will generate enormous economic possibilities.
Lots of jobs.
And jobs.
You know, if we just concentrate on IT related jobs that we can do for developed countries, we'll create another 10, 20 million jobs in this country if we focus on convergence bill properly.
Right. So convergence bill is your new mission in life at the moment.
I would say that's one of the interesting things to do.
Right.
Okay.
After a considerable amount of time, we heard your views when you addressed the first international conference on telematics in transportation in Bangalore some days ago. This you addressed via video link from Chicago.
Yes.
Now, in your speech, you said that there is enormous opportunity for India in telematics. Can you tell us exactly what you meant?
See, telematics is the science of really combining telecom and informatics. In transport, today, there is great deal of activities going on in telematics in auto industry, in cars. You buy a Mercedes car or a BMW big expensive car, you have navigation system.
GPRS, satellite navigation systems.
In my cars, I have everything.
Yes.
Okay, which I don't use. Yeah. So one focus is to develop telematics for expensive cars. My emphasis was, can we develop telematics for railways in India, for buses in India? See, most of the time, best brains solve problems of the West.
And the problems of the rich.
Problems of the rich. When you need best brains to solve problems of the poor and problems of the developing world.
Yes.
But they are not very paying, so people back off. It is easy to work on an expensive Mercedes, which costs $100,000. Then it is to work on a bullock cart. But bullock cart also needs same level of technology. So my emphasis was to really take telematics to mass transport. Look at our trains. Are we really managing our trains properly? Look at the confusion. Can I go get train ticket anywhere as STD-PCO? Why can't I do it today? It's all there.
And also management of traffic to
absolutely
optimize the carrying of load on the network.
There is so much to do.
Yes.
Another important thing I'm looking at right now is electronic payment.
You've talked about this as well,
yeah,
where people can use their mobiles and their SIM cards as money.
Absolutely. Or STD-PCO.
Right.
I can go to STD-PCO where they will have a mobile phone and I can conduct transactions. Why do I need to carry all these coins and notes in my pocket now? It was okay.
What is the
then.
basic idea behind using SIM cards as electronic money? How can it be done, and
It
how
doesn't have to be
easily
SIM
is
card.
it feasible?
It doesn't have to be SIM card.
Yes.
It's a software package basically which sits on your phone.
You're talking about smart cards.
It's not even smart card. It's a software. See, smart card imply a plastic card and a
with
chip.
a chip. Yes.
This is just software which sits on your phone. You have an account with the bank, which you already have.
Yes.
Lots of people have. So you are connected with a bank in a secured way. You pull some amount out on your phone, 500 rupees, and you pay. I'll pay from my phone to your phone 100 rupees. So when I pay bits and bytes.
How does it go? Like an SMS?
Yeah, it will just go through infrared or through over the air. Okay, and you are connected to bank. So
Yes.
my bank will be informed, your bank will be informed, and they'll deposit money in your account.
As simple as that.
It is very simple.
And it can be easily implemented.
Mindset. It's all there. Technology is all there. It's mindset. You know, I mean, I believe, I have a friend at London School of Economics. He and I have been discussing this whole idea of
Yes.
money.
Yes.
I think the money concept as we understand today is going to vanish in next 20 years.
Nobody will be carrying currency notes anymore.
Yeah, you'll be spending
Or
bits
even
and bytes.
or even credit cards.
Yeah, you'll be spending bits and bytes. And when you spend bits and bytes, you think very differently. Yeah.
Right. So a revolution in thinking is also coming about.
Yeah.
What are the shortcomings you find at present in the telecom sector in India, which you would like to rectify?
Well, I think one, we have created lot of confusion in licensing, this whole debate on WLL versus CDMA, the sort of earlier version of licensing upfront as opposed to revenue sharing. So there are a lot of complex issues which are being addressed. I hope these issues get resolved over a period of time. But I'd like to see us at 100 million telephones in next 3 to 5 years. I'm not happy with 40 million telephones. There is no reason why we can't have 100 million phones for a country of billion people. That's nothing.
Right. What about the deregulation of the industry that has taken place and the privatization? Do you think that's a good thing? It's going apace?
Absolutely. There is no way out. Government systems were not capable of delivering. Why in telecom? You take any sector. Government systems are never capable of delivering consumer goods. I think government should really get out of a lot of these miscellaneous stuff.
So the privatization and reforms that are being carried out,
I think we need to carry
support.
Absolutely, and we need to carry it further. But we need to be very careful about how we execute.
Right.
Because privatization is really a process and not a product. It takes its own time. It needs ecology of privatization. And we have not been able to develop proper ecology of privatization.
You recently expressed your desire to really get involved with the development of IT in India, but you were afraid of getting bogged down with officialdom or babudom.
No, I wouldn't say that. I was part of it, or why would I be afraid? I'm not afraid. At my age, you are not afraid of too much.
Right.
Okay, no, I'm not afraid.
You can take it.
Not that way, but there is so much I can do. I'm just one little individual someplace in the corner. There are lots of young people. All I can do today at this age is be a catalyst.
You also recently spoke to the media about your vision of e-governance and how somebody should be able to set up a business by just having a computer and an internet connection, and all approvals and processes should be done online. You shouldn't be kept waiting while doing this. You've had your share of experience with the Indian system, as you already mentioned. Do you think that this is really feasible and possible in the near future?
Anything is feasible. Anything is possible. You make up your mind, you can do it. Okay, we are a country of very intelligent people. Do we really want to do it or not? Today, with all the technology, why should I fill in 5 copies of the same stupid form that was designed 50 years ago to get an admission in school? I want to change all the processes that British Raj left in 40s. We are using same procedures. Now we are computerizing those procedures. I want to challenge every one of those procedures. How do I get a ration card?
Computerization alone doesn't mean that it's been
No, because they are computerizing wrong processes. How do I get a ration card? How do I get birth certificate? How do I get my land records? I want to question every procedure today.
All these should be available online, you think?
Absolutely. And with new procedures. Why should I go to some gazetteer officer and get 2 copies from him? Who came up with this idea? It don't make sense anymore.
Right.
But you got to have commitment to challenge a lot of these things.
And you've got to dare to dream.
Absolutely. And you got to be wild.
Right. Well, on those words, Sam, it's time to thank you very much for being with us. You're still a man with a mission. It's wonderful talking to you.
Thank you,
Sam Pitroda.
Thank you.